Democracy Heroes Award, Africa.
Audio Jungle.
The nominees for Best Minister of the Year 2022: Dr. Zainab Ahmed, His Excellency Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, Malam Isa Ali Pantami, His Excellency Rotimi Amechi, and the winner is His Excellency Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola.
My pleasure to congratulate Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola on this historic award as Best Minister of the Year. This is a man who over the years has been involved in the public life here in Nigeria, beginning from his days in the student unionism as a student leader, to commissioner in Lagos, and to governor in Osun, and now minister. And in all of these years, in each of the facets where he's worked and served the people, he's left his mark. In Lagos, as Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, most of the things you enjoy today in Lagos in terms of infrastructure development, but ideas that he had put on ground there, development plans and blueprints that he's put on ground in his tenure.
I'm Beatrice J.D. Agba, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Justice. Before my appointment to this position, I had served as Director of Legal Services in the Ministry of Interior, where I had the privilege and honor of working with Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who is the Minister of Interior. Incidentally, I'd met him before then when I was the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking Persons. So we had a brief engagement in my official capacity at the time. Then he was the Governor of Osun State, and that was the first time I met him. But let me say that the first time I met him, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what kind of persona I had. I've met quite a few governors, and you know, they're usually like a potpourri of, you know, responses I get from them. But when I met the Honorable Minister, I was very, 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 very taken in by the keenness of his mind, the way he spoke, his passion and understanding on issues affecting trafficking, the tremendous support he gave to NAPTIP to begin operations in Osun State. Like, he's not the ordinary politician. He is actually a technocrat. And then when I was posted to the Ministry of Interior in 2019 as legal advisor, a few weeks after I resumed, he was announced as a minister. I wasn't sure where he was going to be deployed, but I recall when he was deployed to the Ministry of Interior, I spoke to my PAMSEC there and said, you have an administrator and a bureaucrat as your minister. He's a very, very engaging and intelligent person.
It's my pleasure to be a recipient of a rigorously organized award process.
The difference between progressives and others is that we are the party with the best interest of the ordinary people. We seek development and pursue goals and objectives that will guarantee improvement for the generality of the people. To that extent, I would recommend that the youth particularly should collaborate with us in the party to develop agenda for progress and their own development. So with that, it will be difficult to ask them to vote for the All Progressives Congress, because it's a party that can meet their core needs, which we are going to work on together, and guarantee development for all of us. But from my short engagement, it is clear that it is an organization that should be respected.
For you to have survived for a decade in our society is a feat. And to be engaged in these effort of celebrating passion, commitment, dedication to service through involvement of a large segment of our society in identifying who qualifies to be so recognized. We must commend the organization and its efforts. So I commend the organization and the leadership of the organization. I want to advise that they must not look back. It might not be as rewarding. Those that their process throws up for recognition will be models that will stimulate others to do what is good. And through that too, some benefits will come. So I appreciate their efforts and I wish you too success, growth and development in your endeavor.
I wish to sincerely congratulate the recipient of the award, the president of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, for this landmark award that has just been received. I also congratulate the organizers, for on their own going out to appreciate worthy Nigerians without even making contact with anybody, just to ensure that in this era when negativity seems to be the order of the day, that we can still look at the positive side of Nigeria. And talking about the recipient, I want to say this is somebody who had worked at several levels of Nigeria and has always made his mark at every one of them. If you look at the improvement that had come on the issue of passport, that have moved it from era of manual human-to-human contact, and where those who are supposed to get Nigerian passport could not get it, only those who can pay bribes can get it. We've moved from that now to era where appointment system like what you have in getting foreign visas is being used, and some orderliness is gradually coming. Some governance issue are being resolved about the passport, and availability is being achieved. Several other things are rolled together to mark its era in the Ministry of Interior. So for this, I want to really commend what you are doing, and you've done well.
I am Idia Toluwa Emisi Babalola, currently the chairman of the Governing Council at the Ogbeni College of Education. But prior to that, I was a commissioner for federal matters under Ogbeni, when Ogbeni was the governor of the state for eight years. And interestingly, every time I'm asked to talk about Ogbeni, there is no way I cannot go back to how I met Ogbeni. When Ogbeni won his case at the High Court, he had his, he was pursuing his mandate for over 3.5 years. I happened to be in the House of Assembly, and just about the tail end of our tenure, which is 6 months to the end, he got his mandate. And the first time I met Ogbeni, believe me, I was amazed at his humility, because when he came in to meet us at the House of Assembly, I was expecting somebody who has been denied his mandate for so long. I expected him to be very bitter, and I expected him, what I expected was just not what I met. Because when Ogbeni came in, interestingly, he came, I was the only female in the house at the time. And then when he came, we were all talking about this APC or ACN guy coming to unseat the PDP. Of course, we all felt somehow. So when he came, I just sat there and I was like, okay, who is this gentleman? Then he came in, he had already been sworn in then. And the first thing I must admit was, when he came, unfortunately, some members of the AC, they came with a vengeance to take revenge. And some of our colleagues that went out on the day he came in to be sworn in, they drove their cars, and we had some people sending them out of the car and actually beating them up. But when Ogbeni heard, he made a statement that nobody should even try that as far as he's concerned, he's the governor of everybody, either PDP or APC or ACN as it then was. And so that amazed me. And when he actually came to meet us as a House of Assembly, he came in with his deputy, and I sat there, was just looking, okay, of course, we all had to revert him being the governor. I stood up, as expected. And there he came and he just high-fived me, you know. And I was like, whoa, he just said, my sister. And from that day, I just felt this is a different person entirely. And honestly, my first impression of him from the day I met him in the House of Assembly, every day I just feel that there aren't many like him. I always refer to Ogbeni as a rarity because when you get to know Ogbeni, a lot of people don't understand the man called Ogbeni. Honestly, I'm not at the risk of sounding immodest. I'm not surprised that he brought this award because you just have to know him to know that the stuff is made of.
We must commend Democracy Heroes Award Africa for their 10-year anniversary. They've done very, very well. To know that this group has been there over the years, promoting excellence in service and diligence in the commitment to building the nation. And I equally call on Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians, to support these young folks to build on the foundation of a transparent, democratic and open means of identifying qualified Nigerians for awards in various categories. Democracy Hero Award Africa, I congratulate you.